In the Nishigahara area of Tokyo, Japan, a woman did not live with her boyfriend, leaving behind 4 children, with her 14-year-old eldest son raising his 7, 3, and 2-year-old siblings alone. The incident only came to light when neighbors discovered that the residence had been occupied solely by children for an extended period and reported it to the authorities, by which time only 3 children remained in the home. At the beginning of the film, a suitcase occupies a significant amount of screen time. Single mother Keiko visits the landlord with her 12-year-old son, Akira. Keiko introduces to the landlord that the children's father works abroad. Her son excels in his studies and is about to graduate from elementary school, and she hopes the landlord will take good care of them in the future. The mother and son behave appropriately, leaving an excellent impression on the landlord. After the moving company leaves, 2 suitcases are opened, revealing 2 children curled up inside. 5-year-old Shigeru and 3-year-old Yuki crawl out of the suitcase with smiles, and the family happily arranges their new home. As night falls, Akira heads to the train station to pick up his 11-year-old sister, Kyoko. The two quietly return to their residence under the cover of darkness. Under the warm light, the family finally gathers around the table for a meal. Keiko reminds her children that, except for Akira, the others must not go out freely. Otherwise, if they are discovered, they will have to move again. Although this rule seems a bit strange, the children express their understanding. Such a unique family inevitably raises curiosity about the unknown secrets that prevent these children from going outside. As daily life gradually unfolds, all questions will eventually be answered. After Keiko goes to work, Akira self-studies and takes care of his siblings at home. Akira is able to skillfully go to the supermarket to buy the most cost-effective ingredients, purchase his sister's favorite chocolate, and cook meals, waiting for Keiko to finish work to dine together. If Keiko finishes work early, she also tutors her children. One day, coinciding with Keiko's day off, the 5 of them play games at home, creating a very harmonious atmosphere. Suddenly, Kyoko expresses to Keiko, who is combing her hair, her desire to go to school. Keiko pauses briefly and informs Kyoko that going to school is not a good thing. Without a father, she might be bullied at school. Kyoko immediately falls silent. In the afternoon, feeling the warmth of the sunlight on the bedding, Keiko happily tells Akira that she has met a partner she likes. He is gentle and considerate, and if they get married, the family can not only move into a spacious home, but also register for residency and attend school. Akira buries his head in the bedding and does not speak. He has heard such words many times before, but each time the result has only been the addition of another sibling. The man who could save them has never appeared, leaving the family without residency for a long time, unable to attend school, and even afraid to interact with outsiders. Because once discovered by social welfare agencies, although they might receive better living guarantees, they would be forced to separate. One day, Keiko returned home late at night, drunk. Kyoko quickly handed her hot water, while Akira prepared food for their mother. Keiko couldn't help but feel that Akira was increasingly like his father. Then, Keiko took Kyoko's hand, applying nail polish while talking about Kyoko's father. He was a music producer, and Keiko had once dreamed of becoming a singer in her youth, but unfortunately, that dream never came true. Keiko spoke at length, and the children listened quietly, creating a seemingly warm and peaceful scene. However, this tranquility was soon shattered. Keiko suddenly left home, leaving a note instructing Akira that she would return soon, and asking him to take care of his younger siblings, along with a stack of cash. Akira deposited the money in the bank. He had to manage this amount wisely, at least to support the family until their mother returned. Days passed, and Kyoko's nail polish was about to chip off, but their mother still hadn't returned, and the money at home was running low. Akira couldn't reach Keiko, and in desperation, he sought help from Keiko's former acquaintances. One of them worked at a taxi company, while the other was employed at an arcade. Upon hearing Akira's intentions, both of them made various excuses and ultimately handed him only a small amount of cash, telling him not to come looking for them again. One of them even claimed that Yuki was not his daughter, stating that he had always used protection during his relationship with Keiko. Even so, Akira felt a bit relieved. Although the money was little, it could help in an urgent situation. But with 4 mouths to feed at home, the funds quickly ran out again. Fortunately, Keiko finally returned, bringing gifts for each child. Yet she didn't inquire at all about their living conditions during her absence. Although Akira felt some dissatisfaction, seeing his mother return still brought him joy. Compared to when she left, Akira's hair had grown long enough to cover his eyes, and Keiko picked up scissors to trim her son's hair. Shigeru laughed nearby, gesturing to his own hair. After their mother's return, the children's spirits were particularly bright. Kyoko wanted to apply nail polish on her mother again, but accidentally dropped the bottle on the floor. Keiko complained while wiping the floor. However, not long after, the children could no longer hear her complaints, as Keiko packed her bags, preparing to leave again. She was going to find that man and solemnly promised before leaving that she would definitely return before Christmas. Akira accompanied Keiko to the station and asked along the way if she had mentioned him and his siblings to the man. Keiko hesitated briefly, saying she would tell him sooner or later. The rest of the journey was silent. At the fast food restaurant in the station, Akira asked again when they would be able to go to school. Keiko still insisted that going to school was of no benefit, as many people could live without an education. Akira couldn't help but blurt out that his mother was very selfish. Keiko felt wronged upon hearing this, and retorted that she was not selfish. It was Akira's father who was the most selfish for quietly abandoning the family. Did she not have the right to pursue happiness? Akira remained silent. He thought his mother's words were not without reason, but he still did not understand where the problem lay. At the train station, as they parted, Keiko promised to send money on time and asked Akira to take care of his younger siblings. Thus, the mother who had just returned left home again. At first, Keiko did indeed send money on time. Although the children could not go out, they each had toys to accompany them, and under their brother's care, life was not much different from when their mother was at home. Christmas soon arrived, but Keiko still had not returned, and there was no news after the first remittance. The younger siblings were blissfully unaware and played happily. The slightly older Kyoko often asked if their mother would not come back. Akira reassured her repeatedly, saying that their mother was just delayed at work. But he too felt anxious inside, so he called his mother's workplace only to learn that Keiko had resigned a month ago. At this point, the family's money was about to run out, and they began to eat instant noodles. The children had no excessive thoughts. As long as they could fill their stomachs, they were very satisfied. But Akira knew that such a situation could not last. In desperation, Akira found the phone number Keiko had used for remittances and called it. Although it was his mother's voice on the other end, she claimed to be a member of the Yamamoto family now. Akira remained silent for a long time before finally hanging up the phone. Clearly, their mother had started a new family and would not be coming back. As the new year approached, Akira prepared gifts himself, asking a convenience store clerk to write each sibling's name, telling them it was a New Year's gift from their mother. Shigeru and Yuki were very happy, but Kyoko noticed that the handwriting was different from their mother's usual script. However, she did not speak up, quietly putting away the money and desperately denying her terrible suspicions. One day was Yuki's birthday, and she firmly believed that their mother would return. She leaned by the window, eagerly waiting, insisting on going to the train station to welcome her. In desperation, Akira had no choice but to take her out. On the way down, they ran into the landlord, and Akira quickly explained that Yuki was his cousin, temporarily staying there. The two waited at the station until late at night, accompanied only by the cold wind before heading back home. The road was silent, with trains whizzing by overhead, all heading to the airport. Yuki loved airplanes, and Akira promised her that he would take her on the train to the airport to watch the planes. Time slowly passed. Although Akira was the eldest son, he was still just a child. He also enjoyed flipping through comics at the convenience store and watching his peers play at the arcade. Over time, he made a few friends. They frequently hung out together, and Akira often treated them to food and fun, even bringing them back home. Seeing so many strangers, Shigeru felt curious and playfully approached to mess around, but was impatiently pushed to the ground by one of the friends. Yuki timidly nestled in Kyoko's arms. Akira glanced at his siblings but remained silent. He also longed for friends, with no other way out. One day, a companion took Akira to a convenience store to steal and urged him to join in. But Akira would rather go hungry than commit theft. Seeing his lack of understanding, the companions turned away and never came back to find him again. Unwilling to accept this, Akira went to his companion's school to inquire about the reason. A few companions laughed and responded, saying they would come by when they had time, but then turned and loudly mocked him, saying his home smelled bad and no one wanted to visit. Akira listened quietly, expressionless, but his heart was filled with disappointment. When he was about to go home, Akira discovered a girl being bullied. Next to her bicycle was a prank wreath set up by classmates, labeled Saki Mizuguchi's grave. This girl was also lonely and friendless. Upon returning home, he encountered someone at the door demanding rent and utility payments, causing his siblings to be too scared to open the door. At that moment, Akira was the only support for his siblings. Looking at the terrified Yuki, Akira decided to go out and work. But no place was willing to hire a minor under 16. The convenience store clerk suggested he call the police or seek government assistance. This plan was not feasible. The family had previously experienced something similar, and the siblings would be forced to separate, a feeling that was unbearable. Akira had no choice but to give up. Seeing this, Kyoko silently handed her long-saved pocket money to Akira. This money was originally meant for her to buy a piano, but at this moment, survival was more important than a piano. Akira took the money, feeling a mix of emotions, but grateful that this money would allow the family to hold on for a while longer. Spring quietly arrived, and the cherry blossoms bloomed in the park, vibrant and beautiful, lifting everyone's spirits. Taking advantage of the absence of others, Akira took his siblings out to play and run. The bright red wildflowers by the roadside excited his siblings. They picked the flower seeds, dug up some soil, and brought it home to plant in instant noodle bowls, labeling them with their names, hoping for the flowers to bloom. One day, Akira found that the water and electricity at home had been cut off. He took his siblings to the park's waterlogged area to collect water, while Kyoko hung out the clean clothes to dry, and Shigeru played with Yuki nearby. Over time, they often encountered the girl Saki, who had previously been bullied. With Shigeru's initiative, they quickly began to play together, gaming and heading home. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating dappled shadows, and everyone realized that summer had indeed arrived. New visitors came to the house. Saki was slightly surprised when she entered, seeing the disarray of items and the unusual smell, but the people living there were very friendly. The balcony was filled with flowers and plants, and the sunlight streaming in created a warm atmosphere. From then on, Saki often came by, and the few lonely individuals gradually became companions. Akira cherishes this friendship very much. Every time he goes out to meet Saki, he makes sure to wash his hair and change into tidy clothes. When sending Saki home, Saki asks when Akira's mother will return. Akira calmly responds that his mother will not come back. After a brief pause, he adds that perhaps she will never return, as they have been unable to contact her for a long time. When there is no money at home, Akira goes to the nearby convenience store, waiting for the staff to clear out expired food to give to him, barely managing to survive. One day, the landlord comes to collect rent, and Saki happens to be present. Seeing this, Saki decides to help these kids and tells Akira that she has a way to make money. Akira sees Saki meeting with a man, which lasts until late at night. Saki is very happy, saying that she can earn money by singing karaoke with others. However, Akira misunderstands, pushes away the money Saki offers, and quickly runs away, filled with sorrow. In front of Saki, the bit of dignity he had managed to build is completely shattered. Life is like a quagmire, making it impossible for him to break free. From then on, Saki disappears from their lives, and their situation remains unchanged. One day, Akira finds a starving Shigeru gnawing on paper, so he searches around the house and only finds a small amount of coins, just enough to buy 2 bowls of instant noodles. He hurriedly carries the noodles back home, only to find Shigeru missing, and immediately goes out to look for him. After sweating profusely, he finally sees Shigeru playing by the roadside. As Akira breathes a sigh of relief, anger suddenly rises within him, and he kicks away his brother's toy before turning to leave. Though Shigeru feels dissatisfied, he beams with joy upon seeing the steaming noodles at home. The weather grows increasingly hot, and everyone is drenched in sweat, their hair sticking together. However, Shigeru uses all the remaining clean water in the house to water the plants. Akira is very angry upon seeing this, but feels helpless. In his frustration, he plans to sell the clothes left by his mother, since she will not be coming back. Kyoko steps forward to stop him, snatching the clothes and hiding in the wardrobe. She has been doing this often lately, as if their mother is still around. Akira feels displeased and turns to leave. He intended to clear his mind, but when he returns home, he finds Yuki collapsed on the floor, unconscious. During his absence, Yuki had been standing on a stool trying to pull the balcony door and accidentally fell. Akira is frantic and immediately tries to contact his mother, but he cannot get through. In desperation, he makes the most desperate move of his life. He goes to the pharmacy to steal medicine, but it is all in vain. By the time he rushes back, Yuki has stopped breathing. Akira looks at his hands, feeling dazed, and the sunlight outside the window seems particularly glaring. Perhaps he should call the police, but if he does, he will be separated from his siblings. His mother had once instructed him to take good care of his siblings. Perhaps he should be sad, but he remembered Yuki once said she wanted to go to the airport to see the planes. In a daze, Akira arrived at Saki's doorstep and informed her that he wanted to take Yuki to see the planes. The two went to a convenience store and bought many chocolates that Yuki loved. Upon returning home, they found that his mother had finally sent money, but unfortunately, Yuki could no longer enjoy it. In the evening, the two tried to fit Yuki into the suitcase they had initially brought, but Yuki had grown taller, and the suitcase could not accommodate her. So they switched to Shigeru's suitcase, placing her favorite toys and chocolates inside. As the night swallowed the last rays of twilight, Saki and Akira left with Yuki, while Kyoko and Shigeru watched them from the balcony. The two took the train that Yuki had always dreamed of and arrived at the airport, sitting quietly on the nearby grass for a long time. Facing the evening breeze and listening to the roar of planes overhead, Akira decided to leave Yuki there so she could see the planes every day. Akira's hands, covered in dirt, trembled slightly as he recalled the sensation of touching Yuki, cold and terrifying. As dawn broke, the two finally completed everything and set off on their way home, covered in dirt. The rising sun behind them, however, felt as desolate as a sunset. After Yuki's departure, the lives of the few continued as usual. They picked up expired food from the convenience store, went to the park to collect water, and lived unnoticed in a corner where no one knew their days.